There is a bit of news. I'll get the quick bit of news out of the way first. I'm using news at that. Hattush is seen some more delays. So it was meant to be either October and November or October and December for the next 2 issues, right? In fact, there's ads in all of this week's books saying October, saying part 5 of Hattush is in October, which is funny to me that they know it's been such a long gap. They know they have to advertise that it's like still coming in some form, especially since the new Batman book started. Issue 162, which is part 5, which they're advertising this week as October, apparently is now already slipped to November. So those ads are out of date already. And more amusingly, 163, the final of the first half of Hattush, is now not coming till January 2026.
Look, man, I'd be okay with them never finishing it.
And what's so funny about this to me is that Fraction's Batman will have had 5 issues, maybe 6 issues even, by the time that Hattush issue comes out. This is hilarious how delayed this is.
Yeah, and look, man, I really liked Fraction's Batman 1. I really did. So, you know, I'm okay with never having to read Hattush again. If they start popping up, I'm good.
Yeah, no, if they come out, you're reading them, Matt.
No, I don't
yes,
have
you
to.
Are. No, you do.
You're not the boss of this car.
You do, or I will slap you silly. Okay, you need to finish Hattush. Right.
As the former actor that played Black Adam said, just bring it.
Mattush. Right? That's what this is. Yeah. You're Mattush.
Is that the sound of the slap you're going to try to give? Mattush. Here's my thing, though. Like we all know, I'm the cranky anti-Batman guy, although hasn't been true in a minute. There's a lot of Bat books that I'm enjoying. I have so many other good Batman books that I'm okay. Jeff Loeb, you know what, bud? Just go right for Marvel.
You have to see how the train wreck finishes crashing. That's what this is. You need to see it. It's important.
Oh, the humanity.
So Hattush is too late. I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's a joke there somewhere. I can't quite get to it. So the other bit of news, which is more serious, annoyingly, and like we're going to bring the tone of the show down a little bit here. So this week, Red Hood issue 1 came out, and as it happens, I have been spurred on to read it as a Patreon choice by one of our patrons. It will be the last issue I review because it's the last issue that's ever going to come out. In fact, not only that, DC are recalling issue 1 and refunding the stores, all the physical copy stores, for both issues that have been unsold and they're returning, but also issues they've sold to customers. I guess DC are doing that as a way to say, hey, we're not going to want anyone to feel like, oh, we've been promised a series, you bought issue 1 because you invested in this and now it's not going to go anywhere. But they've done this. They've cancelled the book effective immediately. Issue 2 and 3, which were solicited, will never come out, and effectively they have fired the writer Gretchen Felker-Martin, and that is it. Now, why have they done this? Now, they've not really technically went into it in depth. They were asked for a statement, and they gave kind of a blanket response. I will read what DC's statement was. At DC Comics, we place the highest value on our creators and community and affirm the right to peaceful individual expression of personal viewpoints. Posts or public comments that can be viewed as promoting hostility or violence are inconsistent with DC's standards of conduct. Now, if I had just read that and didn't know anything, I would be like, that sounds fair enough. What the hell did they say? However, I think it's a little bit more cowardly than that. This to me feels like DC, or maybe Daddy Warner is maybe more accurate. It's hard to tell who up the food chains made this choice, but it sounds like that some people have complained about some things that Gretchen said on social media, And they are maybe just doing this as a way to be like, we don't want to deal with any controversy, so we are just jettisoning everything so that we can wash our hands clean of it, and that's it. And that's probably the best case scenario. It's still bad. I still don't like it. It's cowardly on their part, but that's better than DC themselves deciding to make a stance on what she said. Now, obviously, I'm dancing around here what she actually said. Basically, she was just very, I'll just say, vocally happy about someone who died this past week. Someone who I had never heard of, if I'm honest, until he was killed. But
how fortunate.
Yes, by all accounts, though, he seemed like a complete piece of shit. So, and said things, including, I mean, first of all, he was very transphobic, and Gretchen is trans, so that's obviously a part of like a personal reason for why she said what she said. But also, he said things to the effect of, oh, children should watch public executions, almost ironically, given how he died this week. So he sounds like kind of a monster, and her calling him a Nazi on social media doesn't really seem that out of touch to me. I don't really have a problem with anything she said. I don't feel like she was promoting the assassination of anyone, but clearly people have pearl clutched and they've complained, and DC have, or Warner's, whoever's making these choices, have taken action. I think no one would have cared in a month. This seems a little bit reactive to me. It's not the exact same thing, obviously, but it kind of reminds me when James Gunn got fired from Marvel, and it was like, you know, yeah, I don't know, everyone kind of... The problem is, though, is it's so baked in politics where it's turned into this two sides thing, which we are not going to get into because it's just going to completely, you know, consume the conversation. But like half the people are very much on one side, half are on the other side, and it kind of feels like DC just want to avoid anything. They just want to avoid the controversy and the conversation and just move on, bury their heads, and hope that no one, you know. So I don't know. Like, it feels weird to have to make a statement on this. I feel like even talking on this show, it feels like anything I say is going to be taken as some kind of stance. So, you know,
which is why I'm staying mostly silent.
that's fair.
If anybody that knows me, that follows me, if we're friends, you're a listener, you kind of know my stance on a lot of this stuff. I just don't want to make it worse, right? It's one of those things. If you keep adding, you know, stuff to the stew, it's just gonna become a big mess. But yeah, I didn't realize that Gretchen was also the author of the book Cuckoo that got turned into the movie starring Dan Stevens.
Oh, I didn't realize that either. I've seen that movie.
Yeah, so I just looked up what else they've worked on. Primarily a horror author, right? So now I look at this Red Hood book and was like, oh, it's kind of a weird choice for Red Hood. What could have been? It's kind of just one of those things. I also feel like because it's a Red Hood book, it makes it easier for DC to pull the plug preemptively than if it was something, you know, bigger. You know, if this was like literally anything else, like let's say a detective comic run that had just started, right? I think that it makes it a little bit easier on their part to make that kind of a decision. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because I like when we get people that aren't necessarily comic book people in writing because it keeps things fresh, right?
Yeah, there's some stuff more related to the book that was a little bit controversial before this happened, even, which I'll get into when I review it later. Because it's more to do about like how she's going to treat the characters and write the story. So I'll talk about that when I get to the book.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just, I always like getting those types of writers that come in that we're not familiar with, and it can, you know, breathe a fresh air. As much as I like our typical guys, our Tom Taylors, our Scott Snyders, and whatever, getting fresh blood in every once in a while is nice. So that's a shame that you know, pulled the plug a bit too soon before it could fully form. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah. I just think this is a poor choice on DC's part. I don't think this should have been as much of a hubbub as it was. And I guess the other thing that I would add on here, in as much as there's different leadership and stuff from this time, I do think that this having such swift action when people at Scuttle Abdel were there writing for ages, even though they'd been accused of certain things, I think is a bad look. It's like, wait, so a trans person speaks out against someone who's openly called for, you know, transphobic laws and things like that, but someone who has been accused of various like sexual harassments in this. I don't know if he was ever accused of assault, so I won't say that, but certainly harassments. Like that was just kind of like ignored for however long, and maybe that's because Didio liked him and he was there at the time, and whatever the other reasons might be, there could be reasons for it beyond just like a hypocrisy or a double standard. But it is worth pointing out, and it does look not great.